Hello, I wanted to show you how I display my HMH cards that we use during the week. That includes the high frequency words that we're learning, the sound words that I am introducing in first grade, and also the vocabulary words and terms that we are using with our My Book and the stories that we're reading. Also, some of the cards I do leave out what we are learning about that week. So if we're covering author's purpose, I make sure that that's out. Even when I'm not teaching ELA, I believe that children, even when they're just kind of like having free time or reading or just taking a breather or walking into the room, having these things out will trigger, the visual will trigger a memory of maybe a lesson that was taught the previous day and reinforce what they are learning in the class, what I am teaching. So I do put their high frequency words up. So these are actually week one are the bottom two that I introduced last 2 weeks ago, and then this week I introduced the top ones in first grade. So I have those up all the time, and when the kids are do sentence writing, I make sure that they're also, if they misspell one of these words, I say, hey, why don't you go look at the wall and see, that's actually one of our high frequency words today. So having those visuals helps. I keep adding to the bulletin board the entire module, and I have that as a visual for them. Now, when the module's over, I take a picture of the way that it was set up so that they're familiar with it, and I print it for them, and we put it in their binders so that they can look back if they ever they need to remember how a word is spelled. So we do that so that they can have those words. But then the next module, I clear the board after I take a picture and I print it for them. I print it on paper, and afterwards, so I clear the board and we start over with the new module. So it kind of gives it a new, fresh feeling for the new module. I do the same thing with the sound cards. Those change in first grade every week, and so those letters, even though they're not part of the lesson that day, I leave them up again to make a connection, because those letters are used in various lessons during the week. And same with the things that we are learning in reading, or in small groups, or when I am working one-on-one with a child. The same thing. I do notice that the vocabulary words, the terms that we are learning this year, are a lot more than the ones we did in kindergarten last year. For example, I taught kindergarten last year, so there was less vocabulary words. So what I am doing is I am just displaying the ones for the week, and we leave them up for the kids to look at, make connections, even those moments that we're not having lessons. And what I do is I will, pull them to the top when we're talking about specific terms, specific vocabulary words that we are doing, whether it's a lesson that I'm teaching and I'm getting verbal responses from them, or when we are working on their packets with their Know It, Show It books, or the grammar books, or the different connections. As you know, HMH does a great job connecting the reading with what you're learning in the writing, and with the like phonological awareness, what we're learning with phonics and sounds. So having these up are great tools, because you'll be referring to them with different components of the lesson, with different areas that we're learning even throughout the day. So these are perfect for us to use, because they're so full of great colors, and they actually add to the room. And like I said, it's just this focus area for the children to refer to even look at and make connections, or even remember the following day when even we're not having lessons. So I wanted to share that with you, and just encourage you to make sure that you use your cards and the tools that you have. If you don't have these, they are able to be printed from your HMH resources so that you can display them.